Undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford is now a 4-division world champion, having scored a unanimous decision victory over the WBA junior middleweight champion Israil Madrimov. A shame it wasn't the show he wanted to put on for Canelo Alvarez. The last time we saw Crawford was in July of 2023, when he stopped Errol Spence Jr. to unify the welterweight division in the performance of Crawford's career. But wanted to follow up that bout with something special, and being a lifelong fisherman, he set his sights on the biggest fish in the sea. Crawford wanted a huge payday by jumping 3 divisions to face the undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo wasn't interested. The Mexican moneymaker feels Crawford, who previously was the undisputed lightweight champion, is too small. Crawford's win over Madrimov was intended to show that he's big enough to fight Canelo, but Madrimov wasn't having it. While Crawford outlanded him, Madrimov landed more power shots and he never looked particularly hurt by Bud. The win was by no means a robbery, but if Crawford still wants that Canelo super fight, he may need a tune-up or two to acclimatise to the higher divisions. On the same card, Jose Valenzuela scored a huge upset win over his Mexican compatriot Isaac Cruz. The split decision win earned him the WBA junior welterweight title and his first win in 3 fights. Not bad for his championship debut. And in another upset on the night, the former heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz went 12 rounds with Jarrell Miller, only to have their bout called a majority draw. And Ruiz should count himself lucky. The 34-year-old, who is coming off a 2-year layoff, only landed 113 punches to the 36-year-old Big Baby's 183. In fact, he only landed more shots in 3 of the 12 rounds, but he put his performance down to an injury he sustained in the 5th. My f***ing hand. Oh my gosh, you can see the freaking bone here. It bothered me a lot. I was hitting him with those big right hands, said Ruiz. I'd love to do a rematch. Let's do it again. Back to Canelo, the most lucrative name in the game has gone face-to-face with Edgar Berlanga ahead of their Mexican Independence Day weekend fight. It'll be another bout in Mexico and Puerto Rico's legendary rivalry, and they're happy to be a part of it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I really love it.
Come on, man. You got Puerto Rico versus Mexico, man.
I don't expect anything else. I know he's gonna come to bring everything, and me too. And that's the fight I really like it. I love it, and I'm gonna enjoy it a lot.
Alvarez has had a number of his biggest bouts around his country's holiday, including all 3 of his fights against Gennady Golovkin. For this bout, the Mexican superstar will put the WBC, WBA and WBO versions of the super middleweight title on the line, following the IBF's decision to strip him for not fighting their mandatory challenger. Instead, he's facing the undefeated Berlanga, who won his first 16 pro fights by first-round knockout. While he hasn't shown that same explosive power since moving up in weight, he stopped Padraig McCrory in his most recent bout, which seems to have given him a boost in confidence.
One thing about me is that when I step up in competition, everything else steps up as far as my boxing ability. You know, this fight is nothing physical. It's nothing physical. He fought guys that's strong. He fought Triple G. He fought bigger guys, Bivol. This fight is all mental, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the IQ, is to be intelligent, you know, in that ring. And he brings a lot of that. So we got to make sure we match that. You know, it's will versus will. Is who could break whose will. Is line versus line. And you know, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm young, I'm strong. And you know, it's gonna be fireworks September 14th, man. You know, I'm not running, we're not going nowhere, we're gonna stay right there, and we're gonna do what we do.
Canelo will give Berlanga the biggest fight of his life at the T-Mobile Arena this September 14 on the Mexican Independence Day weekend. But despite all the pressure, everyone seems to be having a good time.
Kid's hungry. Says he's been dreaming about this fight and dreaming about you. How does that motivate you?
No, relax.
You know what I mean.
No Mookie stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah, please, bro.
I feel great. You know, somebody dreaming about me. It's perfect. I like it. And he got it. He got it.
To the Olympics, where the disembodied head of Umar Kremlev and the International Boxing Association is attempting to go to war with the IOC over the gender status and eligibility of 2 female medal winners, despite the IOC barring the IBA back in 2019.
We are declaring an investigation against the IOC President Thomas Bach and his team. I'm urging the best investigators from across the globe to join and do a public investigation on how much they have corrupted the International Olympic Committee. They shouldn't make decisions themselves.
In what can only be described as a shambolic press conference, the IBA president and his lackeys went after the IOC for allowing Amani Khalif and Yu-ting to compete after the IBA suspended them both during the 2023 World Championships. But why?
We're not able to disclose the results of any tests, but you can read between the lines where that sits. And of course, what I'd also like to mention here is that yesterday evening and this morning we've received letters from the NOCs in Chinese Taipei and Algeria respectively informing us that we can't disclose any information pertinent to either boxer.
Not only could the IBA, who were barred from the Games for years of incompetence and corruption, not produce any evidence or details of the tests or procedures, they outed their own unforgivably uneven testing standards in the process.
Many countries concern medical is okay, possible to participate in boxing. The problem was the gender, the sex, woman or man. So we take 4 exams, blood exams for the gender. The 2 was these 2 boxes. The other 2 was okay.
If you didn't catch that, the chair of the medical committee admitted to only testing 4 athletes, based purely on pressure applied on them by at least one unnamed country. Kremlev, who is from Russia, thinks this is only fair.
Of course, it's not just women's boxing that is being destroyed, but I think that in the future, the IOC will try to destroy women's sports in the same way as it is happening today at the Olympics, because it is not the IBA that is organising boxing at the Olympics. If it were the IBA, this would not be happening today.
The eligibility and safety of having these 2 boxers compete is another discussion. But the manner in which the IBA has conducted this attack during the Games via social media campaigns filled with hateful rhetoric is an example of why they were barred in the first place. Boxing hasn't been barred just yet, though, and the former gold medalist Oleksandr Usyk is there in support of the sport and his Ukrainian countrymen, who are still competing despite Russia's ongoing invasion.
At the moment, we have the smallest number of athletes competing at the Summer Games we have ever had in the entire history of Ukraine's independence. We're at war, but our athletes still came. They are still fighting.
The undisputed heavyweight champ also weighed in on boxing's future in the Games. After years of corruption under the leadership of the aforementioned Russian Umar Kremlev and the historically inept IBA, the IOC almost dropped the sport altogether. But Usyk thinks this will never happen.
There is no need to say much about this. For many years, there has been a desire to change the boxing system, which is rotten on an international level. So, we just need to work.
Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.